My peoples, my peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. We talking boxing, my peoples. Y'all know what we do, man. Y'all know how we get down this early in the morning. Y'all ready for this smoke? This thing might turn into a cooking show, my peoples. I don't normally cook on Wednesdays, but it might turn out that way. Y'all seen all the hate that Boots is getting, all the people trying to diminish his accomplishments, diminish his resume, and he ain't done nothing. We're gonna have to talk about that. Gonna have to address the whole situation, my peoples. Mr. Ko in the building. Toy Mafia, salute my brother. Yeah, Agent 17 in the building. My peoples. Listen, my peoples. I've been getting a little bit of flack. People trying to say, oh, nah, you supporting Boots, but he ain't fight nobody. He ain't done nothing. And I got to tell you, to me, that doesn't even make sense, because as of right now, how old is Boots? 28? 28 years old, man. Why people acting like Boots is 40 years old and never fought nobody? Come on, my peoples. We gotta be reasonable. And fans are definitely not being reasonable with Boots Ennis. Hating. The hate is crazy. And I really don't understand it, my peoples. Now, we all seen the reactions to Jaron Boots Ennis getting that first round knockout. Oh, Lima's a nobody, he's a bum, blah, blah, blah. Cherry pick, and so on and so forth. Well, what's next for Jaron Boots Ennis? Guess what? It's Virgil Ortiz. But now, what's gonna be the hate now once they say, here's the next opponent? It's gonna be Virgil. What's gonna be the hate narrative around it? And then what happens when Boots beats Virgil? What happens then? Well, what you gonna say then? Oh, Virgil wasn't the same? Oh, he should have fought him at 147. He's different at 154. What's gonna be the excuses? Mr. Ko, real question. Who's gonna be the underdog? That's tough. That is tough to say who's gonna be the underdog. I would expect, these are my expectations, for Boots to be the slight favorite. And I say that because you have to remember, up until right now, Virgil Ortiz has never won a title. He didn't get to win a title at 147, and he hasn't fought for a title at 154. So even though people give Virgil more credit for his opponents, oh, he fought better opponents, that's opinion, right? That's the thing about opinion. Anybody can have any opinion, but facts are not up for debate. You can't argue with me about the facts. Boots is the more accomplished fighter, right? So he's a unified champion in the welterweight division, and now they're both at 154. I think that will make Boots the slight favorite. Virgil's very skilled, volume puncher, knockout puncher, has a lot of tools and resources to make this a fight. And in fact, I said it yesterday, for Virgil to win this fight, he has to turn it into a fight. If there's gonna be a boxing match, Boots is gonna get him. With the height, with the reach advantage, the footwork, who's gonna get him? But if Virgil can, use his athleticism, cut the ring, and force Boots into a slugfest, he got a chance. If he could hurt him, if they get in an exchange and he could hurt Boots, even if he don't stop him, he can alter him enough to where Boots is not able to operate and do what he normally does. And that way Virgil can take advantage and win the fight. but it's tough. In my opinion, the odds are against Virgil winning that fight. And I got Boots. I got Boots winning it. I will say, when two young, hungry lions in their prime get together, anything can really happen. I expect this to be a very competitive fight. Right? So I don't have Boots washing Virgil. Some people tell me, nah, Boots gonna wash him. Or people saying Virgil's gonna knock him out easy. Look, ain't nothing gonna be easy about that fight. Nobody's watching nobody. Nobody's gonna make it look easy. It's gonna be very competitive because both of these guys are special. Both of these guys can fight. When two great fighters face each other, somebody has to lose. So when I go against Virgil and I say Boo's gonna win, it's not that I think that Virgil's not that good or he's not a great fighter. It's simply styles make fights, and I feel like Boo's style will be able to offset some of the things that Virgil does. I got Boots winning that fight. But like I put in the chat earlier, my peoples, I specifically hit Bozy up and asked him, what's next? They were like, yo, Virgil, we already signed the contract. I heard it from I read it from the horse's mouth. They signed the contract already to fight Virgil. It's already a done deal. So Virgil has to win his next fight, which I expect him to beat Lubin. And right now, based off of what Bozy told me, my expectations is Virgil versus Boots early 2026. When that fight get announced, what people gonna say? Those who saying, "Oh, Boots cherry picking and he not fighting nobody." What's gonna be the next hate narrative that they're gonna build around Boots? Because he's gonna debunk that one, right? When he picked Virgil in his second fight at 154, he's gonna debunk the narrative that he's not trying to go after no smoke. And then my peoples who say, oh no, he's gonna go after somebody else. He's gonna try to fight somebody else. What are y'all gonna say when it turns out that Virgil is gonna be the next opponent? Mr. KO, what's your take on Carmel Moten? Do you see him fighting one of the Vargas brothers? Listen, Carmel seems to be that throwback fighter and have that old school mentality where you can tell he's gonna be going for the big guns. He's gonna be going for the guys that are gonna be calling themselves the best. He's gonna want that action. Carmel, you already see him going back and forth with Zape and Moses. They're going back and forth on social media. They've already seen each other. So I expect that to happen eventually. That's gonna be a super fight when it does. But I do expect Carmel to end up in the ring with one, maybe even multiple of the Vargas brothers, because they're all close to the same weight class. Frank, good morning, brother. Salute, my G. Appreciate you dropping in, man. So we talking about Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. I know that Boots is getting a lot of hate for the cherry picking, right? Like, he don't have a right to do a tune-up. He don't have a right to move up to a new division and do a tune-up. No. He had to make his debut in the division against the best. People didn't like that. Cool. But what's next for Boots? What if Virgil is next? What are people going to say then? What's going to be the new hate narrative? Because I know they're going to say, oh, Virgil going to knock him out. Virgil going to knock him out. That fake confidence. That fake confidence that people be having. It's going to happen, my peoples. I promise you. Virgil versus Boots is going to happen. Now, is it going to happen early next year? It should. It should, right? You can't predict the future. Virgil's going to fight Lubin. We expect him to win that fight. At least most of us. And we'll see after that if they're going to get it going. But I got Boots winning that fight. And I'm telling you ahead of time. It's going to be a good one. Before anybody try to suggest that I'm hating on Virgil and that I want to see him lose. No, 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 no. None of that. Ain't no hating going on over here. I got mad respect for Virgil Ortiz. And he's one of my favorite fighters in the game. There's no such thing as a boring Virgil Ortiz fight. You know you're going to get your money's worth. So I enjoy watching it. When two fighters come together and I'm making, a prediction, I'm looking at a lot of different factors. And one of the factors that I'm not even considering is whether I like the fighter or not, or how much I support the fighter. I'm not even looking at that at all, ever, ever. I'm not. Actually, there's been some times where I let my emotions make the pick. Where deep down inside, maybe I know, but my emotion, like, nah, this guy got a chance. But when I sit there and analyze and I give you a prediction, that's that Jay Stradamus shit. I'm sticking with it. And based on the physical attributes and tools and resources, the skills, the mechanics, everything that they do, I got Boots beating Virgil. And Virgil's a great fighter, and I still see him becoming a world champion and accomplishing, but he's gonna take that L to Boots. Y'all want me to be honest with y'all, right? Mr. KO, Boots also mentioned Bakram, and he said he was ready for Ennis. I would love to see that one. That fight guaranteed won't go the distance. Listen, bro, Jaron Boots Ennis versus Bakram Murtasaliev, it will turn into July 4th. I don't care what date it is. If they could fight on February 17th, it's going to feel like July 4th. That would be explosive. And I'm going to tell you, I'm already a fan of Bakram Murtasaliev. I became a fan the moment I watched him fight Tim Tszyu, because he's one of those fighters who literally comes out of nowhere and shows fans, just because you don't know a fighter, it doesn't mean that he's not elite level. It does not mean that he's not high caliber. That's the one thing a lot of boxing fans don't see. If you beat a guy that they don't know, oh, you beat a bum, you beat a nobody. He's a champ. Listen, if Tim Tszyu would have beat Bakram, the same people would have said, oh, he beat a nobody. That Bakram guy is a piece of delivery guy. But look what happened. Turned out to be a dark horse and put the beating of a lifetime on Tim Tszyu. And we didn't know him. And people can't even cap and say, oh yeah, I knew him. I've been following him. Bro, Bakram been fighting in small venues in Europe, in non-televised fights, or fights that are televised in small channels, that in small markets that we don't get. So the overwhelming majority of boxing fans saw Bakram Murtasaliev for the first time when he climbed the ring versus Tim Tszyu. And we was expecting him to get beat up. And I'm going to tell you something about that fight, which, by the way, I called it. I called that fight live. During the first round, I already knew Bakram was different. I already knew, first round. When I saw that Tim Tszyu was, stepping up in the first round, his aggressiveness, and Bakram was matching it and going above. I'm going to be more aggressive than you. I'm going to walk your ass down. I'm going to bait you up. You saw that attitude in Bakram Murtasaliev from round number 1. When Timmy tried to apply the pressure, Bakram wasn't having it. And as the rounds went, look, I think it was like the second or third, man, when I was like, oh shit, man, this guy's going to beat him up. It didn't take a very long time for me to realize something is happening over here. This guy's different. So, again, my peoples, just because we don't know a fighter, it doesn't mean that he's a cherry. It doesn't mean that he's a bum. It doesn't mean that he can't fight. It just means that we don't know him. And you see how Bakram Mortasaliev showed up and pummeled Tim Tszyu? Guess what? There's other dudes out there. There's some dude in Africa that we never heard of. Some dude in Australia, another dude. Somewhere in Europe and Spain that we never heard of. And they beating people up out there. But to us, or to you at least, they are nobody because nobody know them. And I'm telling you, my people, let Bakram Mortasaliev be the example that just because we don't know somebody, it doesn't mean that they not elite level, world caliber. Ask Tim Tszyu, he'll tell you. Mr. KO, I can see Boo stopping Fondora, but honestly, Tim didn't even hurt Mortasaliev. Yo, at no point, it was such domination from Bakram Mortasaliev that it left you wondering, like, yo, who could mess with this dude? Because he didn't just, beat Tim Tszyu, he beat him up in dominant fashion. It's like, if you watch the fight, man, it's like Bakram was fighting with a little kid. It's like he was fighting with a teenager. And he was just out there beating him up. And that little kid, there's nothing he could do about it. That's how he did Tim Tszyu. So once you watch that fight, you gotta wonder, who's gonna beat this guy? Who's gonna be the one? Because Bakram Mortasaliev is undefeated, right? Who's gonna beat him? Who's gonna fight him? Because, Boots is the first guy that I seen mention his name. And I didn't hear it, but somebody told me that he mentioned his name after the last fight. But people not really trying to get that smoke, or it doesn't look like it. Kevo DJ, hello, guy. Good afternoon. Salute, my brother. Well, for me, it's good morning. 6:45 in the morning over here. Mr. KO, Bakram versus Virgil would be crazy, too. That's a crazy fight. And honestly, I don't think that's a good fight for Virgil. Because Virgil, although he's more technical, but he's similar to Tim Tszyu in his approach, how he goes forward, his aggressive nature, right? He's similar to Timmy. I think Bakram, the best style to beat him is someone who's gonna move, who's gonna use that footwork, who's gonna use those angles on him. But if you're gonna go toe-to-toe and trade leather with him, which I expect, these other guys to want some of these fighters to do, Virgil Ortiz, I would expect them to try to go toe-to-toe with him. I don't think that's a good idea, man. Number one, because he could take a shot. Ate Tim Tszyu's biggest shots like they was potato chips, bro. They ate them things like they was Doritos. Come on. Mr. KO, I could see it too. Nah, man, I'm telling you, that's not a good fight for Virgil. In my opinion, that's not a good fight for him. Kevin DJ, which country are you from? Good morning, Papa. Dominican Republic, my G. Dominican Republic is in the building. By the way, my peoples, remember what I told you the other day, man? In November, there's going to be a national tournament out here in the Dominican Republic. The best in the country is going to be there. You got to see some of them when I went live last week. So be on the lookout for that, man. That tournament is going to be crazy. Lots of action. Sai, salute. Salute, my brother. Yo, Sai, I'm going to start you off with this right away. Jaron Ennis is going to fight Virgil Ortiz early 2026. That fight is going down. So you can go ahead, make your predictions, who you think is going to win that fight. I already told you who's going to win that fight. If you want to go against me, you could do that. But if you got experience, you understand what's going to happen when you go against me. Side, you got a confirmation? I'm glad they ain't stalling. So look, I'ma show you my confirmation. I'ma show you my confirmation. Right? Because I could tell you what happened was and I heard. But now look, I'ma show you my confirmation, family. Look at this. Look at the name. You see who that is, right? That's Bozy. So what I asked Bozy was, what's gonna be next? What's gonna be next for Boots? And look what he told me. I'm gonna read it. Supposed to be Ortiz because we signed the contract. Bozy himself told me that they already signed the contract. So that means that Virgil just has to win against Lubin, and we expect him to do that. And then after that, it should be Virgil versus Boots. That's it. Come on now. Sai, yeah, Boots winning. Kevo DJ, I'm happy to talk to you at this time, Papa. Salute, my brother. Same here, Mr. KO. I got Boots 116, 114. Ooh, comfortable? Okay. You got him doing it comfortably. I got it 8 rounds to 4. I gotta say this, look. I think it could be closer than that. I think it could even, be a 7-5 kind of deal. But with the Boots' advantage in reach, his footwork, I know Virgil is super athletic, so he's gonna be able to keep up with him. But then Boots got the mechanics and the angles. I think based off of that, he wins the fight by unanimous decision. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a split decision because it becomes super competitive. Because I expect a competitive fight. And I told you guys before, in my eyes, for Virgil to win this fight, he has to turn it into a slugfest. He has to press the action, press him over and over, and turn it into that type of fight where we're going to exchange. We just going to go back and forth and trade punches. Because now, if you could hurt Boots, then that's different. If you could hurt him, even if you can't stop him, but you can make him, alter what he normally does. Flip, salute, Jay Smith. Fundora is a problem for anyone. I think that would be a war if he fought Boots. Fundora know how to use his reach. Boots would definitely get hit trying to get to the inside. Listen, I think that Sebastian Fundora may very well present the toughest challenge. He might present the toughest challenge for Jaron Boots Ennis. Might. Because you have to look at, when you set the reach, his physical assets. And I remind people, man, Sebastian Fundora, in my opinion, he has 2 stages. There's 2 stages of Fundora, and I'm going to tell you what they are. The first stage is the Fundora before he fought Tim Tszyu. The first fight, right? Remember, he fought Tim Tszyu twice. So think about Fundora the first time he fought Tim Tszyu and before that. And what you're going to remember is that Tim Tszyu's a guy who regularly used to just fight on the inside and trade leather with guys. We used to talk about it all the time. Like, damn, why this guy so tall and he don't use his reach? He be on the inside. Bam, 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 bam. And when he took his first loss, what was he doing? Trading leather with a guy that was a lot shorter. Bam, 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 boom, got clipped. Got hurt, got dropped, and then got stopped. And when he fought Tim Tszyu, the first time around, he took a lot of punishment. He took over after Timmy got cut. But he was receiving punishment before that. And then during that fight, he started using that jab more to maintain that distance. And ever since then, it's like Sebastian Fundora transitioned into a new stage where now he uses that jab a lot and effectively. It's different now. You don't see him just trading leather often on the inside, pa, 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 like he was doing it before. Nah. Now, this version of Sebastian Fundora is making you pay to get on the inside. You want to trade leather with me? You're going to eat 2, 3 of these first. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, welcome to the inside. He's doing it like that. It's different. So, Sebastian, look, I'm going to put it to you guys like this. Jaron Boost Ennis got his tune-up, got his win, did what he was supposed to do in the division. Right now, 154 belongs to Sebastian Fundora. Make no mistake about it. This is his division. Boost said he's coming to take it. And the first one on the list is Virgil Ortiz. 310, man, Ruth. Salute, my brother. Bam! The first one on that list for Boost is Virgil Ortiz. But he said he's going for the belts. This Virgil fight has just been brewing since they was at 147. We've been asking for this fight. We've been making the predictions. We've been saying, no, this guy's going to win. Or that guy's going to win. I got people telling me Virgil's going to knock him out. I got people telling me Boost is going to knock him out. People telling me Virgil's going to make it look easy. And others are saying Boost going to make it look like he's sweet. It looks like we're going to find out, my peoples. It really looks like we're going to find out. Sooner rather than later. And come on now. Both 29 years old, both in their prime, both knockout artists, both super fast, super strong, got agility. Come on now. And then I'm telling you what happens inside the ring. But you have to think about what happens outside the ring with that fight. You got the Mexican American versus the African American. You got the guy who's backed by the Mexican community versus the guy who's backed by the African American community. You know how many times we've seen this showdown? It's always a classic showdown. You have the African American fighter, the boxer puncher, versus the Mexican American fighter, who's the puncher and somewhat boxer, because Virgil Ortiz can box. Don't get it twisted, right? He's not just a puncher. I would say he's a puncher boxer. We're gonna get fireworks. This is a super fight. This is a legit super fight. So for everybody that's saying Boots is only cherry picking, Boots is not trying to fight nobody, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They already signed the contract to fight Virgil. So all Virgil needs to do is get past Lubin and we meet up early next year. Holla. Sai, how long you think Boots staying at 154? Well, they already said they're going after everything. They trying to get all the belts. So he's going to be at 154. Unless there's like some, a big offer at 160 that they offer him, a bag to fight somebody. I think he'll be at 154 for possibly 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years collecting all the belts. Maybe faster if he can do it faster. But if he's going to fight Virgil, let's say he fight Virgil in March. I'm just throwing, something out there. If he fight him in March or in April, that's not a title. That's not a title shot, right? Neither one of them has a title. So if he is going to try to become undisputed in the division, it's going to take some time. You're not just going to fight the champions back to back to back, right? And he's not fighting a champion next either. Ricardo Maye, Virgil might not beat Lubin. Now I see him, listen, man. I don't see Lubin having a chance to win that fight, bro. I've been hearing that. Oh, Lubin. I got mad respect for Lubin, number one. I know that he can fight. I know that he's skilled. I know what he can do. But I'm going to tell you what you have to consider. Lubin has a lot of mileage on him. Not just the fact that he has a lot of mileage, he's been in some tough fights. He's taken some nasty beatings. So when you take a guy who, he's skilled, he can fight, but both of his losses was by stoppage, and they was brutal. Sebastian Fundora put a nasty beating on him. Jamel Charlo, it was interesting for a while, but then it turned into a beating too. And not just those two fights. Lubin has been in some tough ones. He's been in some tough fights besides those. So I don't think, when you take the guy, the vet, look, I'm not just gonna say off the top of my head. Right now, Lubin is 27-2. Both of his losses was by stoppage. He got knocked out. 31 professional fights. That's a vet. You're a veteran. You've been around for a minute. He got a lot of mileage on him. So, when you see this kid Virgil Ortiz coming up in his prime, in his 20s, with not a lot of wear and tear, it doesn't go well for Lubin, bro. My people, to those of you tuning in, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. I'm about to have my breakfast. If you're having yours, enjoy it. If you're on your way to work, salute my peoples. Of course, we got to get this money. Early in the morning, we talking boxing. Side, Black American versus Mexican brings the fans out. I'm trying to tell you, bro, that this rivalry, when you think about an African American fighter and even a Mexican American or a Mexican fighter, when you put those two together, you can go all the way back to Julio Cesar Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. That was crazy. You can go to Sweepy and Oscar De La Hoya. You can go to Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya. Like, there's history behind that. A lot of great fights that have taken place. Boots versus Virgil will be the latest installment of that. It's gonna be a beautiful thing to watch. Flip. Catch you later, Jay Smith. Peace and blessings to you and your family. Great things are coming your way. Keep grinding, my brother. Salute, Flip. Appreciate it, my guy. We're gonna keep working. We're gonna keep grinding. And my objective is to bring boxing fans the best boxing content. I want people to say, you know what, I want to watch some boxing stuff. Let me go to Box Center. Let me go to Box Center. Jay Smith is gonna give me something to get my boxing fix. Side, Lubin didn't have much wear and tear. He's still young, Jay Smith. I'm telling you, man, he's been in some, not just the two fights that he lost, which he got stopped in both of those. He's been in some tough fights. Been in some tough fights, bro. Side, the only way Lubin loses is if he burn out. His style ain't good for Virgil. I'm telling you, my people. Lubin is a very good fighter. And you're right, he's not old. He's 30 years old. I think he's 30, 31, right around there. So that's young. But like I said, man, when you take the 30-year-old guy who's been in some tough fights, who's been stopped twice, who's very good, but been through it, and you put him up against a young, hungry lion who hasn't seen damage yet, that body's at 100% capacity, that skill, nah, bro. It's not gonna go in Lubin's favor, my peoples. I'm telling you how it's going down. The brain. My coach is taking me to spar at Gary Russell's gym this Thursday. I'm nervous because I'm 43 years old and want to perform well outside of the gym in front of the Russells. The brain, first of all, salute to you, my brother. That's gonna be super fun. What you need to do is focus on having a good time. Focus on enjoying it. I'm gonna tell you this right now, my brother. You're gonna feel some type of butterflies and some type of nerves up until you throw the first punch. The moment you step in the gym, your heart's gonna be racing. The moment when you put in the gloves on, your heart is gonna be racing a little bit faster. As you walking in the ring, your heart's gonna be almost coming out your mouth. You're gonna be nervous, but that's a natural reaction. Number one, you're gonna be lacing them up, and number two, you're gonna be in front of people that know boxing. So you wanna look good, you wanna do good. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is, if you're 43 years old and you're going there to spar, I think the most important thing is for you to try to have fun. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the whole thing. I got one professional fight, my brother. One. That's it. When I was 44 years old. So I was 1 year older than you when I made my pro debut. And I fought an opponent who was 35, 9 years younger than me. Think about that. 9 years younger than me. The fight went the distance. I lost. I dropped my opponent. He dropped me. He got me on the cards. And guess what? I wouldn't trade that for the world, my brother. I wouldn't trade that for anything. Why? Because at the end of the day, if I'm making my pro debut at 44 years old, I'm not looking to be a champion. I'm not looking to, you know what I'm saying, do anything like that. I'm not looking to have a career as a professional. I'm looking to, step in the ring and trade leather because I missed out on doing it when I was young. When I was a kid, I wanted to fight. I didn't get to do it. I was like, I don't want to become an old man without ever fighting as a professional. And I did it. So to me, it was about the experience, having that experience, being able to. Nobody could tell me about a boxing contract because I've signed a boxing contract. I know exactly what it looks like. Nobody could tell me about no training camp because I've done a training camp and I watch other professionals go through their own training camp. Nobody gonna tell me about cutting weight because I had to cut weight. I had to go back down to 135 and starve myself to make that shit. So it's an experience that I had that I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I would say for you, the brain, do the same thing. Enjoy that experience. Have a good time. And when you get into trade leather, you're going to get hit. You're going to hit. Enjoy the whole thing, man. Quee, morning, yo. Just tuning in to how's everyone? Salute, my brother. We talking boxing. Virgil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis, my brother. That fight looks like it may happen early 2026. MAW, hello J Smith, boxing fans in chat. Subscribe, share, smash that like button, my peoples. Come on, almost 1 hour. Not even close to 20 likes is diabolical. Jason William, top of the morning. Good morning, my people. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. The brain, I'll do well once the nervous goes away. Plus, my goal is only 10 amateur fights. Thanks for the advice. No doubt, my brother. Look, I really appreciate it when someone decides to chase their dreams in their 40s when it's a physical sport because most people think that we can't do it. Most people think that we shouldn't do it. They're going to try to talk us out of it. And they don't understand that some people just have that fighting spirit. We want to fight. We want to fight. And I don't want to go to the street and get into a fight and go to jail, get locked up. Let me step in the ring and put the gloves on and trade leather with somebody. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The old-fashioned ways got to come back. I wish, listen, I'm going to tell you like this. If there was no guns, you will see a lot more fist fights. People just be fist fighting. If it could just be fist fights, people be fist fighting, and it's not a big deal. We good after the fight. Nobody needs to get killed. Ucker Arlson, I think Virgil sparks boots. Let's see when it happens. Let's see when it happens. Superman, J. Smith. Appreciate you dropping in, my brother. Bam. But it's like I told you, my peoples. I asked Bozy Ennis myself. I personally asked him what's next. And his response was, it's supposed to be Virgil. We signed the contract. Take that to the bank to get some pounds. So all Virgil needs to do is get past Lubin. That's it. That's all you got to do. And I expect him to do it. I know a lot of people's predicting, oh, well, you know, Lubin is gonna get him, Lubin. I told y'all, man, I got mad respect for Lubin. I do not see him beating Virgil. I don't see it. Now, can he shake up the world and do it? It could happen. It could happen. Superman, Abbas is next. It won't be Virgil. Okay, so let me ask you a question, Superman. You're telling me that Abbas is next. Where exactly did you get that from? Where did you get that Abbas will be next? What is your source for that? Because I'm sitting here telling you that Virgil's going to be next, right? And you're telling me that Abbas is going to be next. My people, salute. And welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast to those of you who just tuning in. Superman, Abbas, they're going for the belts, movements. Okay, but what is your source, Superman, that they're going for Abbas? You just came up with that on your own? Like, nobody said that? That's what I'm asking you. So your source is just what you figured out on your own? That's what you're saying? Because I'm telling you that they're going to fight Virgil. Right? I'm telling you that they're going to fight Virgil. And while I'm telling you that, I'm showing you a DM from Bozy Ennis. So Bozy Ennis is telling me that Virgil's going to be next, that they sign a contract. But I'm supposed to believe you that Abbas is going to be next because that's what you came up with? I don't know, bro, but I think I'm going to believe Bozy over you, my guy, my bad. I'm going to go with him. God damn. Shit is hot. I'm going to go with what Bozy told me. That's me. You want to tell me they're going to fight Abbas? I don't know where you got that from, bro. Superman, Eddie said it. Or any other champs. You know I saw it. Also, by any other champ, you decided that it was Abbas? Damn. I don't know. I don't know how you made that decision. He said any other champ, and you narrowed it down to the one who doesn't have a name. I don't know, but that sounds like you on hating time, bro. Why you want to guess that any champ is going to be a boss? That sounds like you making up in your head whatever you want. But you don't have to believe any one of those promoters if you don't want to. But why you keep assuming that it's going to be the guy who doesn't have a name? That's what make you sound like a hater, Superman. You're like, no, it's going to be the guy who doesn't have a name. Why? I don't understand. So think about this. If Bozy's telling me, yo, we signed a contract for Virgil next, why would you still not want to believe that? Bozy not a promoter. You telling me you don't believe promoters? He ain't a promoter. That's Boo's father / trainer. You don't believe him? Side, Boo's is WBA interim now. So Abbas holds the full WBA. That doesn't mean anything. That literally doesn't mean anything, Side. I'm going to prove it to you. How many years Tank Davis held the WBA interim? And Lomachenko was a champion of that strap and he didn't fight him. Devin was a champion of that strap and he didn't fight him. Tio was a champion of the WBA, he didn't fight him either. So when you have a WBA secondary, that don't mean nothing. That literally don't mean nothing. Because when you have a secondary strap, guess what? You don't even get mandatories. They don't even force you to fight nobody. You're supposed to be next in line, but if you don't do nothing, nothing happens. MAW, Boots versus Virgil next would be awesome. I thought most likely Virgil will push for the WBC Mando shot versus Fundora after Lubin, while Boots would chase Abbas for full WBA title. We'll see. Listen, here's the deal. And I think that you guys have to see that. You see how people are saying, it's Abbas, it's Abbas, it's Abbas? If Boots fights Abbas next, they're going to do the same thing they always do. Abbas ain't nobody, and who Abbas be, and why Boots fighting him. They already know the fan reaction. This is the reason why they want to fight Virgil next, to shut everybody up, so that they can now start making a different excuse to hate on him. He don't fight nobody, he don't fight nobody. Boom, he beat Virgil, now what you got to say? Then it's going to be like, oh, but he only fought one guy. Now he got to go fight. See, that's the thing. When they say a fighter ain't fight nobody, when they fight somebody, then they try to say go fight somebody else. Look at Crawford. Put the beats on Canelo Alvarez. And what now? Go fight people. Go fight Benavidez. Go fight Usyk. You want him to fight somebody else. So when he put the beats on Virgil, they're going to be like, nah, Boots needs to move up and fight somebody else. MAW, 154 is fire. That is 100% facts. Here are the guys that I would like to see Boots get in the ring with. Virgil Ortiz, Bakram Mortasalier, Sebastian Fundora, and Xander Sayas. All four of those guys. It's a fight I want to see. And I think whoever's holding a belt is going to end up seeing Boots at some point. Unless they use politics to not make that fight. Superman. When and if he does beat Virgil, he gets all the credit in the world from me. I don't know, Superman. I don't know that he'll get all the credit. He'll get all the credit, but the same way that people gave that Crawford haters gave him credit. Give him credit, but right away, go fight this guy, go fight that guy. So you give him credit maybe for like half a second before you start saying that he should go fight this guy and that he's a weight bully and that he should move up to 168. All type of stuff. I can't see you just giving him credit like, yo, yeah, this guy's great. That's it. He's better than Virgil. I can't see you doing that, bro, for real. You too invested already hating on him. Superman, we want to see Virgil next. That's a fact. That is a fact. The Brain, with a bit of a year off to heat up physically and mentally, where does Errol Spence fit into the 154 conversation? Can he recover from that beating? A bit over a year. He's been inactive for over 2 years already. It was in September when they fought. So I think it's already 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Look, right now, Errol Spence is a big question mark. Why? We don't know if he was left with any effects from that beatdown he took to Terence Crawford. I've seen fighters take a nasty beating and never be the same again. Or just take a nasty loss. I'm going to just make one example. Look at Adrian Broner after he got beat by Maidana and tell me he was ever the same guy. After Adrian Broner lost to Marcos Maidana, for every single fight, we was like, let your hands go, AB. Let your hands go, bro. Bro, throw some punches. AB. AB just focusing on not getting hurt. And that's it. It's almost like the rest of his career played out that way. Him focusing on not getting hurt and not letting his hands go. That became like his style of trying not to get hit. So we don't know what version of Errol Spence are we going to see if or when he comes back. It's a question mark. We know the skills. The skills are there. The talent is there. Is his body physically going to be there? Can he be that same Errol that we saw before? Is his mind going to be there? Can he be that same shark mentality guy that I'm hunting you down? Or is he now going to be cautious of not getting hit with that big shot, just like Broner? So honestly, we don't know. I don't know what Errol Spence we're going to get when he comes back. MAW, what the heck is happening with Jermell? Is he done? I mean, bro, I don't know, because last time I heard, supposedly Jermell was going back down to 154. I even had seen somebody post about how him and Errol was talking so they could fight each other. And I don't know. I haven't been hearing from him. Superman. That's subjective. The word hate is extreme. The word hate is only extreme if you're taking it out of context. You're taking it out of context. It's not literal hate. It's the type of hate that you see when somebody's always trying to diminish somebody's opponents, trying to diminish their accomplishments. They don't hate that person literally. It's called hate because they have a hard time accepting that person's greatness. Terrence Crawford has a lot of haters. They have a hard time accepting his greatness, my guy. You know that. You know that very well. MAW, is Spence or Jermell return? I'd expect to see them in a tune-up. I do prefer quality fights, but either jumping straight into a hard fight, just too risky. Got to shake off the ring rust. I agree with you 100%. And look, even though Keith Thurman came back and looked great, looked fast, strong, sharp, finished his opponent in his devastating fashion, but he had a lower level opponent. This Australian kid, undefeated, but young guy without that much experience. But Keith looked good, right? Now, when you have Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo, both of them been inactive for mad long. Both of them will be coming off of a loss because Charlo lost to Canelo. He ain't been back. Errol lost to Bud. He ain't been back. The only way that I'm okay with them coming back versus a name is if they come back against each other. That they can do. We both been inactive. We both coming back. Let's get it together. The Hydro Grind. Salute, my brother. Bam. Raider Joe. Crawford, a bad man. Bro, Crawford is the face of boxing. Crawford is the face of boxing, and people having a hard time accepting it. Salute, everyone. Enjoy your breakfast, man. And enjoy another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. MAW. What the heck is happening? Yeah, I'm telling you, Jermell, I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know if he's done. I think I saw a post from him where he said he was coming back down to 154. Kenny, Charlo's still king at 154. I mean, You could make that argument. Nobody took his belts in the ring. You could make that argument. That's the thing about, you see, that's what you have to understand, my peoples. Jermell Charlo never got beat by nobody at 154. He got beat 2 divisions north of there. So he could make the claim like, yo, I'm the legit champion over here. Ain't none of y'all beat me. None of y'all take my belts. So, yo, Kenny, I can't argue against you, my guy. How can I argue against you when he never took an L in that division? Dari Panam, Moses Itama versus Kurapulev is next for the WBA regular heavyweight belt. I'm going to tell you something. That damn regular belt, man, I'm tired of it. They need to do away with that crap. Because you get the regular belt, but then you can just hold on to it and not do anything about it. And for example, Tank Davis had the regular belt for like 3 years. And then eventually the champion moved up to another division, left that one vacant, and they gave it to Tank Davis without him having to fight anybody. So when you hold that WBA regular belt, if you want to, don't challenge the champion. Just sit on it. Sit on it. And then when the champion move up, if he move up and vacate, you might get that by email. Not even have to fight nobody. Crazy work. So I don't even care about that belt. But I will say, Moses Itama, at just 20 years old, you know, he could be a guy that will dominate the heavyweight division for years. But he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. Don't apply that type of pressure on him. Because he could get beat up early and that could change the whole way his career is going to play out. Kenny, Conor Ben might go to 154 too. I mean, let's see after that rematch. Let's see after that rematch how that's going to play out. My very happy day. Rocky Marciano kicks all their butts. Rocky Marciano is dead. What are you talking about? The Brain. Will you consider Spence being worse or more impactful, mentally damaging than when Tyson lost to Douglas or James Toney to Holyfield? When I say impact, I'm speaking about the aura of the fighter. Whoa. So, right now, we could say yes. And I'm going to tell you why right now we could say yes. Although Mike Tyson was upset by Buster Douglas, right? Went to jail and all that. But after that, he became a champion and dominated for a bit before he started to go downhill again. Got some wins. But Errol Spence, and the same thing with James Toney. So, I mean, the same thing with Holyfield. These guys was able to accomplish after getting their ass whooped. Right now, Errol Spence, it looks like he got retired by that ass whooping. So I would say that's more impactful. Like, you got just taken. You went from being the big fish to you just out of boxing. Got you out of boxing. So I say that makes it more impactful. Throat of Cobra. Where you from? That doesn't matter, bro. This is not a dating show. My very happy day. Are you in a jail cell? That's a good question, man. I'm going to have to invite you to the block party for that one. Moses the man. Yo, Moses Itama can fight, my peoples. Moses Itama can fight. But like I said before, at only 20 years old, he's in the heavyweight division where the hardest punches in the game is at. I think they should take their time. Take your time with Moses Itama. Which, by the way, I heard Frank Warren say that they could have went after a title, but they're taking their time with the development process. So I think that's the right way to go. Superman, Jay Smith. Wasn't the regular belt the original before they added the super? What does it matter if it's the original? Right now, it's a trinket. So if it was the original, what does it really matter? It's a trinket. It doesn't mean nothing. Did you not see when Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion? Tank Davis beat Mario Barrios for the secondary WBA trinket? That's a Mickey Mouse belt, bro. It doesn't matter what it was. It's what it is. Mickey Mouse should be wearing that thing in front of the castle. Teach. Do you think Shakur should go to 140 with Tio, Keyshawn, Antoine Russell, Sobrier, Rowley, Hitchens, allow to smoke at 140? I mean, that's what he's going to do next. That's exactly what he's going to do next. It's looking like he might fight Teofimo Lopez in the 140 division. David, yeah, I agree. Holy shit, his phone is running out of battery. Jason Williams, Superman. I think they changed it to super to create a regular. Either way, we ended up with a super and a regular. But everybody who knows that the regular is a trinket. That's not a real title. You know what the regular does? The regular puts you in front of the line so that you can fight for the real title. That's what the regular does. And Tank Davis held the regular one for like 3 years and never challenged the champion. Fooling y'all with that fake belt. Fooling y'all. Yo, people be thinking this is a dating show, B. How you show up and the first thing out your mouth, yo, where you from? Huh? God damn, motherfucker didn't say a word of boxing. Just where you from? Nah, I don't like that interest. I'm not feeling that. That smells like goofballery. MAW. Moses Itama showing potential. Joe Parker deserves his shot at a title, in my opinion. Joe giving yet another test versus Wardley. Still a goodie. We'll see. Listen, man. Wardley versus Joe, that's going to be an explosive showdown. We're going to see fireworks. Believe it. Kenny, Abdullah and Kid Austin should move up. They big as hell. Yo, listen. I want to see them fight each other, and I don't care what division they do it in, bro. That's it. I don't care. Abdullah and Floyd need to see each other. Jason Williams. We're watching Dating Center with Jay Smith. I don't know, B. Bro must have thought this is Dating Center. Nah, this box center. We talking boxing. Yo, and I'm glad that we boxing folks don't be on that corny shit. Like, how do you show up on a boxing channel and the first thing that come out your mouth, yo, where you from, bro? What are you talking about where I'm from? Bro, you see a rainbow? You see any signs that you could holler at me? What are we talking about here? My brother Greg Hackett knows that straight up goofballery. GHB TV, salute my brother. Bam, I appreciate you dropping in. Yo, Greg, it's 7:30 in the morning, man. What you doing up this early? Talk to me, my boy. What you doing up this early? Al the Maker, salute Jace Stradamus. What is your opinion on Haney versus Norman Jr.? Do you have a prediction on who will win? Look, I'm going to keep it 100, Al the Maker. I'm struggling with that one. I promise you I will have a prediction, but I'm struggling because I know that Haney, you know, with that footwork, with his skills, with his ring IQ, but I'm thinking about Brian Norman Jr.'s athleticism, and I feel like he's going to be able to stay in front of Devin and push the action like Loma did. So it's hard for me right now to determine, is Devin Haney going to be able to do it like he did with Loma? Because Brian Norman Jr. is a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and hits a lot harder than Lomachenko. So I'm still struggling with that one, but I got you. I promise you. I am going to make a prediction, but I'm not there yet, bro. I'm not there. I'm struggling with that one. Superman. Superman. Jay, you see me going at all these guys. We want all the smoke with all these boxers. No more cans for Ortiz, Ennis, especially Tank. The Escape Davis. Look. I understand that Tank Davis should get some flack because he ducked Lamont Roach. We know that rematch was supposed to go down. They had a rematch date set, my people. There was a rematch date set. And they didn't even have the balls to cancel the fight with Roach. They just went into a whole different fight without saying shit. Lamar Roach found out that the rematch was canceled when he saw the new announcement for the new fight. That was a kneecapping exercise we witnessed on Lamar Roach. They did him dirty. They did Lamar Roach dirty, my peoples. That was supposed to be his payday, his second time under the bright lights. That was supposed to be Lamar Roach. His star power going up. His star power maybe been exploding because I had him beating Tank Davis in the rematch. Those of you who've been around know I told you Lamar Roach is going to outbox him and beat him more convincingly in the rematch. People was like, nah, Jay, you crazy. Tank wasn't the same. That's why. He's going to be the same in the next one. He was going to get the same ass whooping, but more convincing in the next one. That's why he pulled out of that fight. The Hydro Grind knows. Let him know the Hydro Grind. Why Tank Davis pulled out? Because he knew Lamar Roach was going to whoop that ass. Greg Hackett TV, GHB TV, getting myself ready for the day. I feel you, my brother. I feel you. We grinding, and I know you always doing your thing too. Superman, a lot of people be calling those Mickey Mouse belts, bro. The WBA regular belt, it's a Mickey Mouse belt. They should have been done away with that title. I don't even know why that thing exists. At one point, supposedly, they was going to do away with that stuff. Jason Williams. And that's why I love the fight. Devin versus Brian Norman Jr. We don't know the outcome for sure. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Devin is a special fighter. But Brian Norman Jr. is a special fighter, too. That's the problem. He is special. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. This is not my real prediction, though. This ain't my real prediction. Don't hold me to it. But if for a second, I think about the physical attributes, with Brian Norman Jr. being the bigger guy, and Devin Haney moving up, right? The physical attributes, they go in Brian Norman Jr.'s favor. Physicality, right? Then when we talk about the power and the aggression, that's going to be in Brian Norman Jr.'s favor. Now, Devin Haney's favor is going to be the footwork, is going to be the jab, is going to be the angles, and it's going to be the ring IQ. When those two collide, it's very hard to determine who's going to win. You never really know who's going to win based on just off of punching power, but you don't know who's going to win based off on the skills alone, because this guy's power may offset some of what he does. So with Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., it's very, very hard to just make a prediction. And I tell you what, to me, it's hilarious when people say that either guy's going to make it look easy. Ain't nobody going to make it look easy against Devin Haney. Ain't nobody going to make it look easy against Brian Norman Jr. These are two special fighters. Two special fighters, my people. That's a fight that got away from us, but maybe we could get it down the line. Brian Norman Jr. versus Jaron Ennis. We're not even talking about that no more because they're in two different divisions. That one got away from us. That one got away. And that's what it is, politics. Because Boots made it clear that he wanted to become undisputed champion in the welterweight division. They could have made the fight with Norman Jr. He's gonna be going after those fights at 154. Eugene Pearson. I heard Boost could have unified, but he ducked them. But you see, that's the magic word you heard. Meanwhile, publicly, this guy was trying to fight everybody. That's the thing. When people don't like a fighter, they throw in the word duck right away. Meanwhile, they actually made like 3 different offers to Brian Norman Jr. And he declined all of them. And they were career paydays. They were more money than he had ever made. And he declined them. Now, I don't knock him because you put your value on yourself, right? And they decided, no, we want more money. We feel like we're worth more than that. You can't knock a fighter for wanting what he feel like he's worth. But the point is, they couldn't make the fight happen. They couldn't come to an agreement. How is that Boost ducking? When they tried to... So, but then you look at Tank Davis, who had a rematch set with Lamont Roach, who was supposed to fight him, pulls out of the rematch, go fight Jake Paul, but he's not ducking. Oh, no, he's not ducking. That's different. Like, that is actually ducking. So, it's crazy. You know, when fighters actually duck, people don't call it a duck. They find an excuse. And then when they not ducking, people want to say, oh, he's ducking. West does it. Boost watches Norman and Haney easy. Nah, I don't think it's easy, bro. I think he could beat them, but it's not easy. I don't see it, bro. Eugene Pearson. People say Eddie sends Lobo offers. No, Eugene Pearson. You say Eddie sends Lobo offer. Because are you talking on behalf of people or talking on behalf of yourself? MAW. Best thing B. Norman, Devin Winter can do is look to unify. After my humble opinion, 147 needs unification. Again, ASAP. I agree. Unify. I mean, not just in the welterweight division. To me, that should always be the goal of the champion. Like, you become a champion. Okay, if you gotta, put in a defense against on that title, cool. But go unify. Go get them belts together. That's how I see it. It's the low key. I think Norman will try to pressure Haney and will walk right into a shot, possibly dropping Norman, but got Haney by decision. Let's see, man. It's going to be very interesting to see how, number one, is Brian Norman Jr. going to be aggressive from the first bell? And number two, how is Devin Haney going to react when Norman Jr. is walking him down and letting the hands fly? Is he going to stand there and trade with him? Is he going to go into clinch mode and be clinching a lot? How is it going to play out? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. This is going to be a very high-level, elite-level match. And it's going to be very interesting, man. When you see fighters of that caliber, it's always an interesting showdown. Let's see, man. I think, like I said, man, I have a hard time making a prediction just because I've seen some videos of Devin Haney training. He looks strong. He looks fast. He looks sharp, as always. I'm going to be honest. I think part of the reason why people doubt Devin is because of the beatdown that Ryan Garcia gave him. So that kind of lingers in our mind, like, damn, Ryan Garcia beat him up. We that's right there. Because you can take away the loss from Devin's record, which they did. You know, they made it into a draw. But you're not gonna make us forget about that ass whooping. Give me a hug. Good morning.
Yo te quiero mucho, papá.
I love you too. So, I think, you know, Devin Haney getting beat up the way that he did by Ryan Garcia is part of the reason why we feel like, damn, man, he's gonna have to fight, you know, Norman, who's a bigger, a stronger puncher. And that's just something to think about. That gives us something to think about. Because remember, when Devin Haney fought Jose Ramirez in his last fight, he was on that footwork. He was on that footwork, my peoples. Y'all remember? He never really stood there and traded with Ramirez. He was on that footwork. But here's what I got to tell you about that. Here's what I want to tell you about that. You see how people criticize Devin like crazy for the way he fought Ramirez? Oh, he was running. Oh, that fight was boring. I got news for you, my people. I got some news for you. Devin Haney fought beautifully against Jose Ramirez. That was the best fight that he could have made versus Ramirez. And I'm going to tell you why. Think about this. Raider Joe, I never seen a fighter sue another fighter. That's true. I want you to think about this so you can see. Devin Haney fought Ryan Garcia and took a nasty beatdown, right? Got dropped multiple times. Face looking like a Ninja Turtle. All swole up. All right. For his very next fight, do you think it would have been wise for him to get involved in a slugfest? And even if he wins, take a lot of punches to the head, where he's coming off of getting pummeled? No. The smart thing to do, the right thing to do, is fight the way that he fought Jose Ramirez. Take minimal damage. Take as least punches as possible. Why? Because you're trying to take care of your brain. You're trying to take care of your head. You're trying to take care of your faculties. So the way that he fought Jose Ramirez is the way that he was supposed to fight. You don't take 2 beatings back to back. End up stuttering and shit. End up punch drunk and shit. That's the way he was supposed to fight Jose Ramirez. You preserving your brain, my G. Eugene Pearson. Why Ryan couldn't knock him out? I don't know. Ask him. What can I tell you? But I will say, that fight should have been stopped. I think Bill Haney let pride get in the way of protecting his son in that fight. I know that, you know, father and son duel, they've been doing this for years. They've been through it. But, and this is just me, if I'm watching my son getting beat up like that, I'm not allowing that fight to continue. Because Devin, as a fighter, he's trained to keep fighting. He's trained to keep going. It's his father who's supposed to protect him, and he didn't do that. Allowed him to take a lot of punishment that he didn't have to. So I don't like the fact that they allowed it to continue. No, I know. I'm gonna finish right now. So, you know, I don't like the way that he allowed Devin to take that ass whooping. But, you know, father and team duel, they make their decisions as a team, and you gotta respect that. Raider Joe, do you like any of Robert Garcia fighters? I mean, I never look at the coach. So, honestly, to me, that's a crazy question. Do you like fighters from this coach? I never look at the coach. I look at the fighters. If you name the fighter, I could tell you if I like the fighter or not. But I've never, you know, judged fighters by this coach or that coach. MAW, Devin went into safety first mode versus Ramirez to ensure he was ready for Ryan rematch, but Ryan lost. The show goes on. Devin versus Brian Norman is the best replacement fight for Devin. Quality, risk fight. Look, I think Devin Haney is showing us what he's made of because I don't think none of us would have envisioned that he was going to pick Brian Norman Jr. to fight next. No, I don't think nobody would have seen that. Especially if you look at Brian Norman Jr.'s last couple of wins, devastating knockouts in brutal fashion. And that's the guy Devin Haney chose to fight next. That tell you what he about. He want that belt. Now he wants a belt in the welterweight division. West does it. Do we see Ryan back in the ring? If so, against who? Ryan Garcia is looking like he's trying to fight um at, at 140 or 147. There's somebody out there who he's trying to fight. I forgot who it is, but it looks like he's gonna come back in early 2026. It's the low key. They will call everyone else a warrior, not Haney though. Even though they watched him take a beating and kept getting back up. I mean, oh yeah. It might be Ryan Garcia versus Barrios. It might be. Look, man, anybody who says that Devin Haney is not a warrior is just a hater. That's just a hater. Al Booger, salute my brother. Bam. That's just a hater. MAW, Ryan versus Barrios makes sense. I like that fight. And I think it's interesting. Let's see. Ryan Garcia is someone who has the skills, who has just the tools and resources to become a world champion. I know he has a bit of a kink in the armor on the defensive side of things, but still, I believe Ryan Garcia, even with those flaws that he has on his defense, he could become a world champion. Should become, like I've said it before. I said Ryan Garcia is going to become a world champion. And, versus Barrios, he might actually accomplish that. He might get the fight with Barrios and beat him. It's a tough fight. But I got him winning Barrios. If he get the fight with Mario Barrios, I got him winning that fight. No cap. Kenny, Devin Haney is the face-up. The Hydro Grind. He got heart, undeniably. Come on, my guy. Devin Haney is a guy who we saw take a nasty beating, get dropped multiple times. Could have quit. If he would have quit, nobody would have even knocked him for it. Like, if he would have got knocked down the last time and stayed down, nobody even would have knocked him for it. Everybody would have respected that. Like, damn, man, stay down, bro. Just stay down. MAW. Ryan versus Barrio makes sense for Ryan. Barrio should chase unification, but maybe Ryan fight still pays more. So that's why it does make sense for Mario Barrios, because fighting Ryan Garcia is going to get him his biggest payday. I don't know how much money he made against Tank when he fought him, but now he has more of a name for himself. He's a legit champion. So I think now he gets an even bigger payday versus Ryan Garcia. And for that reason, it makes sense. Superman, yes, please, slow down, Kenny. West does it. Let's not forget Pac-Man waiting on one of these dudes. Well, supposedly Pac-Man is going to fight, I think, in January, February. Oh, let's see who he's going to fight then. It's the low-key. Ryan and Barrios is a good scrap. I like that fight. I really do. I think that it's a very interesting fight, very competitive. Who wins it? Let's not get into predictions yet. Let's see if the fight is going to happen. Let's see if the fight is actually going to happen. By the way, my damn phone is running out of battery over here. Yeah? Hold on, my peoples. I got to grab my charger because this phone is about to turn off on me. We don't want the. I've ended a few shows with the phone running out of battery. This ain't gonna be one of them. The battery's not gonna end the show for me. Kenny, Devin is the face of boxing. Okay, Kenny, you repeated that 4 times already. You're good. If that's your opinion, we respect that. You got that opinion, but you don't need to keep repeating the same thing over and over. You got it. You said that he's the best and he's undisputed. You got it, Kenny. We got you. No need to keep repeating the same thing, family. You might have something else that you could say about boxing. Underrated Will Superman, salute my G. MAW, smash that like button. Come on, my peoples. An hour and a half, not even 30 likes. An hour and a half giving y'all this boxing reality. Come on, my peoples. It's a double tap. Pop, pop. And that's a like right there. Check it. I already told you, I gave you what I had when it comes to Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. I feel like that fight is going to happen, and it is going to happen next. Of course, Virgil has to beat Lubin. Once he take care of Lubin, that's it. Superman, pop, pop, pop. I mean, come on, man. I'm going to have to grab my apron and my chef hat and start cooking people up in here. I don't want to do it. It's not even 8 in the morning yet. Like, do I need to start cooking people up this early? I don't want to do it. I really don't. But I digressed. If we get Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz early 2026, what is going to be the next hate narrative for Ennis? First, he ain't fight nobody, right? He beats Virgil. What's next? Oh, he only beat Virgil. Now he gotta fight somebody else. Then it's gonna be that he only beat this guy. Or what's gonna be, I hope people are not gonna say, yo, it's just that Virgil's not the same anymore. Virgil like 28 years old, so I hope nobody gonna say he's not the same anymore. West does it. Ennis Ortiz is looking almost like a super fight. That's a big fight. That's a big fight. They're not, neither one of them is a superstar yet, but they're both stars. They both have a fan base. And just announcing that fight is going to bring new fans into boxing. People who want to see the Mexican-American versus the African-American. That's a big, big fight, my people. I'm telling you. Boxing junkie. Salute, my brother. Bam. My brother, we talking about Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. People are saying that Boost is going to go after Abbas and that he a cherry picker, that he don't want to fight Virgil. They're making it look like he don't want to fight Virgil, basically, because he took that one tune-up. And I'm like, yo, he made his debut in the division with the tune-up. He's going to fight Virgil next. Watch. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe it, bro. MAW, I hope rumors of Johnny Beck versus Lara unification is true. Thoughts, Jay? So any unification fight, I'm with it, especially at 160, because if Crawford decides to go down to 160, it'll make it easier for him to become an undisputed champion. Go ahead, you two unify, and you two unify. Then I could just step up in here and take you for 2 belts and take you for 2 belts. 2 fights, Crawford could be an undisputed champion in the division. But I tell you what, one of the 160 champions is Carlos Adames. My dream would be for Terrence Crawford to fight Carlos Adames for the 160 belt here in the Dominican Republic. Make that fight over here. Boxing Junkie, great fight. But I see Boost taking that fight. Yeah, I see Boost. I see a competitive fight too. Think it's going to be competitive. But I got Boost winning it. But people hating so much on Boots that I'm telling them, yo, Bozy told me that they already signed the contract to fight Virgil next. Bozy told me himself. And they still saying, nah, yo, Boots not going to fight Virgil. He don't want that smoke. Like, you prefer, like, should I believe what Bozy told me, or should I believe what you just made up in your head? Nah, I don't think Boost want that action. I just got a feeling. I'm gonna go by your feeling. It's crazy. That fight is gonna happen. Boost and Virgil is gonna happen. Kenny, Haney resume. You got a family, but Kenny, you're gonna need a quick break because you keep repeating the same thing over and over. So take a break, take a 24-hour break, and when you come back, we talking about Virgil and Boots, and you still stuck on them. Come back tomorrow and talk about what we talking about. You know, do that. MAW, Bub versus Adamas, or for 160 undisputed next. It's my preference, to be honest. So I will say, Terrence Crawford versus Carlos Adames is a fight that nobody's talking about, that nobody's mentioning. And I talked about it the other day. I posted about it because I said, wait a minute. They know each other. You remember that video, that viral video of Crawford sparring with Carlos Adames? And they was going at it, tagging each other. You probably seen it. So they've been in the ring together. They train together. They know each other. That's a fight that could happen. Superman, Adames and DR getting a beatdown. Damn, finally you side with Terrence Crawford. Finally. After all these years of always going against Crawford, you're going to go with him. There you have it. But we don't know. Look, I would love to see that fight, but we don't know if it's going to happen. We just don't know. We don't know what's next for Terrence Crawford. We don't know if he's going to choose to move up. I don't think he's going to because he said he wasn't. But is he going to stay at 168? Or is he going to move down and try to grab more belts? Superman. Kenny the face of getting knocked out today. That's it. Kenny turned himself into the face of goofballery. The face of goofballery is Kenny. My man put in 50 messages about Devin Haney. I don't know if that's Devin Haney's cousin, a Devin Haney #1 fan. I don't know what it is. MAW, Bub versus Adames. I like that fight, man. I like that fight. Superman, he's on timeout for 24 hours. Yeah, when you overdo it like that, you need 24 hours. Because in 24 hours, he can contemplate and understand his goofballery. And then he can come back tomorrow with a different vibe and talk about different things and not be stuck on one guy looking like a goofball. The Hydro Grind. Kenny daydreams about Haney. Yo, Kenny, I know you still watching, man. You need to take Devin Kizak out your mizouth. ASAP. That, it is what it is, my boy. My peoples. Listen to this. Listen to this. Terrence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez the way that he did. And I still got people randomly hitting me up just to tell me, yo, he not the face of boxing. Bro, you really DMing me to tell me that he's not the face of boxing tells me that he's the face of boxing. The fact that you feel the need to reach out to me for that, coño loco. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Jesus Christ. God almighty, my people. Come on. Come on, my people. We have to understand, when somebody's the face of boxing, just accept them. Just accept that he's the face of boxing. You don't need to fight back against the reality. Superman, I'm a Buff fan. I always pick him, not like these others. We knew he would win, even against Spence and I go Mexican Nello. Eugene Pearson, how Boo's turning down Turkey for tune-ups? I mean, how much do you know about business decisions in boxing? You know, you can't really ask that question and expect an honest answer. What you're really expecting is the answer that matches what you want to believe. If you've never seen a boxing contract, how could you even ask that? You've never even seen a contract. You have no idea what they was offering him. You had no idea what he had to agree to. You're just saying, yo, why he turned it down? If you've never seen a contract, Pearson, it's tough for you to ask why somebody turned it down when you have no clue what they had to agree to. So there you have it. Superman. Nah, the Haniac be some wild stuff though. The Haniacs, West does it. Remember when Fondora messed up his bag, dismissing the Crawford fight and chasing Arrow? He did not mess up his bag. You know why he did not mess up his bag? Because he would have lost to Crawford and he wouldn't even be a champion right now. He would have lost to Crawford. He would have got his ass beat. Instead, he's a world champion now and he's the guy running the division. He's the man. Rich Porter, facts. Eugene Pearson. But you said Brian Norman got offered life-changing money. Did you see the contract? I didn't have to see the contract. Brian Norman Jr. himself said they offered him like 1.5 and they wanted 1.8. I didn't have to see it. You see the difference? Eugene Pearson, I talk with substance. Brian Norman himself said how much they offer him. Eddie Hearn, there's multiple people on video, on YouTube that you could look up that said how much he was offered and how much he wanted. And it was actually a career payday. So there goes your answer, Eugene Pearson. I'm the human algorithm. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do it. MAW, what's your thoughts on Dana White entering with Zuffa belt and refusal to acknowledge existing major belts? Eugene Pearson, I just wanted to know. I clarified it for you, my brother. You don't have to take my word for it. You can look it up. It's out there how much he was actually offered. But he turned it down because he felt like he was worth more money. And I don't knock him for that. So I'm going to tell you the whole thing with Zuffa boxing, with Dana White, with Turkey El Sheikh, TKO boxing. I'm concerned about that league. I'm not convinced that it's going to work out the way people think it's going to work out. And I'm going to tell you why. Dana White is bringing the UFC model into boxing. That's what he's doing, right? You know, UFC is its own independent league. So I want you to think about this. When you sign a contract with the UFC, you cannot fight in Pride with Pride fighters, right? You can't do that. But when you sign a contract in boxing, you can go fight in UFC, in Pride, and wherever you want to. So boxing has traditionally given fighters freedom to do what they want. Dana White is going to take that away. Dana White is bringing the UFC model that you're going to fight only for our belt. You're going to wear the clothes that we tell you you're going to wear. You cannot go fight and get a bag somewhere else like Tank Davis is doing with Jake Paul. He's going to do an exhibition. You're not going to be able to do that when you with Zuffa boxing and TKO. So, I'm not even going to use the word that I was going to use, but people who sign contracts with TKO and Zuffa boxing, they're going to be tied up the same way as UFC fighters, with not many options. So that's why I don't see how they're going to thrive. People think, oh, a lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money. How many football leagues have I seen collapse that try to compete with the NFL? How many? 2, 3 football leagues with billions of dollars behind them, and all that money didn't matter. You know why? Because football, the NFL, is ingrained in American society. It's ingrained. There's already a history. People got jerseys from players who played 20, 30, 40 years ago. So you have to understand, these football leagues, they had a lot of money behind them, but the fans never bought into it. There's fans who went and watched, but they never even came close to matching the scale of the NFL. So now you got this Zuffa boxing TKO stuff going on, and they bringing in the UFC model over here, and they trying to tell you all these exciting things that they got going on. But guess what? They're not going to be able to sign none of the world champions. They're not going to be able to sign none of the highest ranked guys, the pound for pound guys. They're gonna have a bunch of people with a bunch of losses, a bunch of prospects, a bunch of journeymen, and a bunch of people trying to get an opportunity to get a fight. They are gonna put up good shows. You're gonna put two guys that are gonna be highly competitive, and you know what Turkey wants? Beat each other up. They're gonna want to put those type of fights on. Two people beating each other up consistently. But at the end of the day, what boxing fans want? Boxing fans want the best to fight the best. And Zuffa and TKO boxing, they're going to hurt Ring Magazine. The Ring Magazine belt is going to lose weight. That's it. It's not going to be prestigious anymore. You know why? Because I want you to think about this. How is it possible that when you're in Zuffa boxing now, you're going to join this new league and you're going to be able to fight in a tournament where it's a bunch of guys with a bunch of losses, and when you get to the top of that tournament and you win, you're going to be able to fight for the Ring Magazine belt? So if you're at 140 in Zuffa boxing, you might have the Ring Magazine belt while I'm over here and I'm the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF champion. But you got the Ring Magazine belt because you in Zuffa? That's it. That belt's going to be fake as hell. Because they already said that the Zuffa champion is going to be able to fight for the Ring Magazine belt. But explain that to me. You as a fan, if you see a Zuffa champion with a Ring Magazine belt, and then you see Abdullah Mason with the WBC belt, who are you going to look at as the real champion? Who's going to be the real champion to you? The guy with the turkey belt? Or the WBC champion? So, you have to understand. Hold on, the vegetable salad want to talk too much. Let's send them out of here. MAW. Dana White doesn't have a monopoly on boxing like how he had with MMA before the Rice competition and others. Dana is fledging in boxing. I'd rather follow Eddie Hearn over Dana in boxing. But MAW, in a way, he does have a monopoly. He does have a monopoly because he's creating his own league. And in that league, the people that are in it won't be able to participate in competition with the guys who fight in with the other guys. So by creating his own league, he's not monopolizing because he's not going to be able to buy everybody else out. But he's creating something exclusive that doesn't allow other people to compete here and doesn't allow these people to go compete there. West does it, their own franchise belt. Kevin Hannon, what do you think of the death of the late, great Ricky Hatton, who died over a week ago? I mean, I don't know what the circumstances were. I seen him on video. He looked like he was in pretty good shape and everything. What can I tell you, my brother? I'm sad to hear it. His son, who's still young, I can't even imagine what he's going through. MS. Half of the TKO fighters will be MMA fighters trying to get a boxing gig in for the money. Alonzo Graham, Dana White knows what he's doing. All right? He knows what he's doing. He ain't never been in boxing. You saying you know what he's doing. We're going to know what he's doing when they kick that league off. But I'm telling you, I have a hard time seeing like the best fighters wanting to go after the turkey belt. Oh yeah, I want to get that Zuffa belt. I have a hard time seeing it, bro. Do you know that every single fighter who has the talent to become a world champion, they all want that green belt. Everybody wants that green belt, bro. And that Zuffa belt, that it don't got nothing behind it. Other than, oh, we're gonna pay you so you can fight over here. Eugene Pearson. But they just not make the best fight the best and eliminating a cross street concept. But Eugene Pearson, what are you talking about the best fighting the best when you got a bunch of cans, a bunch of people that took a bunch of losses, and a bunch of guys that just turned pro? There is no best over there. You got a bunch of journeymans and a couple of average Joes. There is no best. It is the best amongst the group that you have. But there is no best. The best are fighting for WBC titles, IBF titles. The best are trying to become undisputed, trying to unify belts. Those are the actual best. If we make a little boxing league right here and put it in my backyard, we could have the best fight the best. But who the hell are they? Who are they? West does it. He can outbid almost anyone. West does it. Turkish can also have his hand in other business outside of the league, like he does now. He may start paying off the champions to bring them over. That's the problem, bro. That's the problem right there, West does it. That people have this American consumption mentality, like everybody just wants the best money, and it don't work that way, West does it. Let me be the one to tell you that there's fighters out there. You're not gonna convince Naoya Inoue with no type of money to let go of his history, his historic titles to go fight for no Zuffa belt, my G. Everybody's not out there just trying to get the most money. Everybody's not out there trying to get the biggest payday. That's that shit the PBC and Tank Davis sold you. It's not like that. There's people out there that really want to be the best. And by the way, Dana White put out the pay scale. What you're saying, like, well, they give guys money so that they could come. What you're saying doesn't go with the pay scale that they put out. There's a pay scale that he put out that people looked at. It was like, damn, that's all they're going to pay? That's all they're going to pay? They not paying dudes like that. They not paying. And when you talk about, if I got a WBC belt, what is it going to take for you to convince me to drop my green belt to go fight for a Zuffa belt? You don't understand that this green belt been worn by Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Rocky. Yo, come on now. Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad. That green belt is the one people want to wear. They want all of them, but the green one is special. That Zuffa belt, you're going to have problems generating interest for that thing, people. You're going to have problems. No, nobody want it. They're going to want the money that comes with it, but the belt, shit don't got no value. It's a trinket. Eugene Pearson. But how can you say Davis or Shakur is the best if they haven't fought? What? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody was talking about Davis and Shakur. I don't know what you're talking about. MAW, I really appreciate all the major fights that Turkey has accomplished for us. Fans, but I gotta say, boxing existed before Turkey and will continue without Turkey. He is just the current highest payer ATM. You see, this is what you gotta understand. Turkey allows sheep. Yo, just like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he was just a boxing fan. He was literally just a boxing fan. So now he stepped in and he got the money or the financial backup to make stuff happen. Well, he's a boxing fan, my people. He's a boxing fan. And Dana White is an MMA guy trying to bring his MMA rules into boxing. You got two non-boxing people that did this league and are doing what they're going to do. So do I have faith in it? No. They're gonna have to convince me that that thing is gonna work out. Right now, I don't see it. You're gonna have to prove to me that a whole new boxing league is gonna work. You may notice that they not even calling it a new boxing league because they don't want people to really look at it as separate. But it is separate. It's gonna be a whole separate boxing league. You're gonna have a hard time convincing people to buy in. That's why I made the example. Those other leagues that they made up to compete with the NFL. Look what happened to them. They had all types of money, billions of dollars behind them. That shit still fell flat. Still fell flat on his face. Alonzo Graham, Terrence Crawford, he just wants to be the best. It's not about the money with him. But that's what I'm talking about Alonzo Graham. That there's always gonna be fighters. Shakur Stevenson is the same thing. There's always gonna be fighters who wanna be the best. So yes, Terrence Crawford wanna make a lot of money. Shakur wanna make a lot of money. But they want to fight for the titles. They want to fight for the belts. They want to accomplish. They want to be seen as the greatest of their era and then all-time greats. You're not going to get that with no Zuffa belt. Once you say, yeah, I'm going to go to Zuffa boxing, that's it. Greatness is out the window for you. You ain't chasing that. You could chase the money. Go over there, get a few paychecks. But greatness is out the window for you. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody. That's going to be for journeymen. Look, I don't know how long it's going to take for that TKO league and that Zuffa boxing to get popular. But at first, Dana said it himself. You're going to see a lot of guys with a lot of losses. You're going to see a lot of journeymen. You're going to see guys who we've seen before and we haven't seen in 3-4 years because they can't get a fight. And then you're going to see guys coming up, 2-3 pro fights, trying to get an opportunity, trying to get a check. So that's all you're going to see in Zuffa boxing is people looking for a paycheck. Is people looking for an opportunity. That's it. That's what you're going to see there. But the people who really want to box and really want to accomplish and really want to achieve, they not going over there, B. They not trying to get no turkey belt. Nobody care about that thing. I'm just telling you what it is, my people. That's why they have to prove to me that they can make it happen. Right now, that Zuffa TKO shit, to me, that's not going to work. That shit going to fall flat on his face. I could be wrong. But right now, you're going to have to show me. Show me. AJ, all the greats have losses. That's the thing, AJ. We're in an era, especially with new boxing fans, newer boxing fans, where as soon as a guy take a loss, they discredit him. Guy just got to take one loss. Oh, look, he lost. He's a hype job. He's not that good, blah, blah, blah. But that's just when people don't know shit about boxing. That's people who don't know shit about the sport. Alonzo Graham, Turkey is making a fight that everybody wants to see. Not easy fight. The hood fight that everybody been waiting to see. I mean, he's made some good fights. But what you got to understand, my brother, is that these fights are not in his TKO league. These fights are not on the Zuffa boxing. That's what you got to understand, my brother. None of these fights are under that new league, which is supposed to kick off in 2026. So let's see the fights that Turkey and Dana are going to put together. And I'm telling you, they're going to be like a B-level boxing league. That's what they're going to be, a B-level boxing league. How long they're going to survive, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what's going to make them a B-level boxing league. All for the amateurs. Here's what you're going to see happening. All for the amateurs. All the real talented ones. The ones who have future as a champion and all that. All of those, they going with Eddie. They going with Bob Arum. They going with Oscar De La Hoya. They going with Floyd. They going with Frank Warren. They going with Salinas. They not going to be going with Turkey to that TKO league. They not. I promise you. Because the real talented fighters, they want they want to be great. They want the belts to have history behind them. So who's gonna go to TKO and Zuffa boxing? The B-level amateurs. The ones that got second place in the Golden Gloves. The ones that got knocked off trying to make it to the Olympics. The ones that won a couple of local tournaments. And they'll get there, and it's not even gonna take long before they get their ass whooped. Because they're gonna have them fight each other. It's not gonna be they say, oh no, we're not gonna that building and all this. No. We're gonna have everybody fight everybody, and the best is gonna emerge. They're not even gonna allow you to develop your career, B. You're gonna go over there in a couple of fights, get your ass whooped, because they're gonna put you with somebody super competitive early on. And you know what they're gonna be? The fighters in that league, they're gonna be pressured to stand there with each other and bang with each other. Because they're not gonna be even signing people who got Tom and Jerry, Mickey Mouse and all that. No. Turkey already gonna be applying the pressure. We want blood. We want you to be warriors and fight each other. Again, because you don't know shit about boxing. If you never been in the ring, you never been punched in the face, it's easy for you to say, yo, stand right there and punch each other until you bloodied. Well, you ain't never been punched in the face. But that league is going to be a B-level boxing league because you're going to have B-level fighters, journeymen, and then you're going to have the head of the league telling you, you got to beat each other up. Beat each other up. I don't see that shit going nowhere. They're going to be losing mad money. And people not, it's going to be a B-level boxing league. That's what that's going to be. That's going to be, we're going to be able to compare that joint with bare knuckle boxing. They're going to be like, okay, it's real boxing, and then there's bare knuckle and the Turkey League. That's what that's going to be. They're not going to replace, remove, or nothing with the giants. They're going to be the little... As much money as Turkey and Dana got backing them, they're going to be the little fish. They're the little fish in boxing. Don't forget that. I told you that. West does it. I'm okay with a B-League. Contracts aren't forever. They can move on if they do it, possibly. Now, look, this is what I think is going to happen. For some of the amateur fighters, that turn pro and sign with them young, I could see them, winning a few fights. If you have to sign a 2-year contract, let's say, or 4, whatever it is, I could see them finishing out their contract and leaving. They're not going to be able to retain talent. Why? Because if I turn pro at 18, right, with Zuffa League, and I'm 21, and my contract is over, and I got a record of 16-0, I'm leaving. I'm already making a name for myself. Now I'm leaving. I'm going to go try to get that WBC, WBO, IBF, whatever. I'm not going to fight for this crap. AJ, Tank making $150 million, fighting Jake Paul. So I don't understand. What was... Like, we wasn't even talking about Tank or Jake Paul. Was the pocket watching really necessary? Like, what are we doing? You see, AJ, that's the problem with boxing fans. Y'all thinking about other people's money. We not thinking of real boxing people. We not thinking about other people's money, man. Y'all got to stop the pocket watching. The random pocket watching. Damn, this early? Tank making $150 million? And how much you getting out of that check? What percentage Tank is going to give you, AJ? Tell us that. Jason Williams, you think the contract is going to be years or number of fights? Honestly, I think it's going to be years. I think it's going to be years. They're going to tie them up. 2 years, 3 years, 4. Because if you do it in number of fights, a guy can get super active and put in a bunch of fights just to get out of there. But if you tie him up for years, then he's stuck there for years. So I think that's how they're going to do it. JJ's in the house. Remember, Turkey going to have people with lots of L's in the boxing league with short careers. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's going to be a melee up in there. It's not going to be no organization. There's gonna be a bunch of people fighting each other in different weight classes. They don't even have the same amount of weight classes. This thing is gonna be a melee. Underrated Will. Turkey lost money, I believe, since took over Ring Magazine. Yeah, they made the big fights, but it won't last. Listen, I think Turkey has given us some good fight and will give us some more. But this run that he's on, when that new league starts, that run is gonna come crashing down. Why? Because his main focus is gonna be that league. So right now he's been giving us fights. But you gotta understand, he's been giving us fights within the real boxing world. Now he's gonna have his own league, and that's what he's gonna put the focus on. Let's see what fights he's gonna give us then. That's it. I don't feel good about that league. I don't. Wes Dustin. Right. I think it might be more like college football versus NFL. Not Big Ten versus NFL. Like a place to get started. Come on. That's why I say a B-level boxing league. Where you're not going to get any of the best. People not going to be interested in your title. Ain't nobody going to be talking about, yo, man, such and such got that Zuffa belt. Yeah. Such and such should get a title shot at the Zuffa belt. Man, it's going to take 50 years before you hear somebody say that. The Hydro Grind. I like that bare knuckle comparison. That's how I see it too. You know, bare knuckle is fun to watch. It's entertaining. But the market for bare knuckle is like this big, yo. Most people never seen a bare knuckle fight in their life. Most people just seen highlights. And in my whole life, I have not seen 5 entire bare knuckle boxing matches. 5. I haven't seen. From beginning to end. And I'm not talking about fist fighting in a backyard. I'm talking about legitimate bare knuckle in a ring and everything. I haven't seen 5 of those fights. My whole life. The popularity of bare knuckle is not exactly something you could compare to real boxing. Alonzo Graham. Tank Davis used to be good, one of my favorites. But what he's doing now, straight diva. Man, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Tank Davis. You know, because we know that he's one of the most talented boxers in the game today. We know he's one of the best counter punchers. One of the hardest punchers pound for pound. Ring IQ off the charts. Footwork, jab. You know, he does everything. But fight the best. He don't do that. He does everything except fight the best. The Hydro Grind. I can't even name a bare knuckle fighter. I could name one, Lara. I know that Eddie's Landy's Lara. They're bare knuckle. Won a title, I think. Was it Eddie's Landy's Lara? Oh, no. Austin Trout. My bad. Austin Trout. I think Austin Trout. They're bare knuckle. Underrated Will. Turkey and Dana think they can't compete with WBC, WBA, and the others. They have money to make fights. Look, here's what I think. I think that Dana White sees himself, you know, he got his own league in the UFC and the success that they have had, and he feels like he can duplicate the same success with boxing. That's how I feel about it. But I will say, Dana White never been involved with boxing. Turkey never been involved with boxing. So for them to just, 2 dudes who ain't never been involved with boxing, never even been punched in the face, and y'all gonna come up with your own boxing league because you got a lot of money, you're gonna have to prove to me that shit is gonna work, because I don't see it. I don't see it. Salud, gracias. I don't see it, my peoples. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to end this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. But y'all know before I do that, I gotta give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith, and it's always all love. Y'all know we're gonna trash talk. We're gonna talk boxing. We're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna be blocking the goofballs, or at least sending the goofballery content on a 24-hour break. But we love the sweet science, my peoples. And let me give you the word of the day before I get the hell out of here. The word of the day, my peoples. Y'all know Jay Stradamus has to give you that. So let me start this off by saying, focus on you, my peoples. On this Wednesday morning, I want to tell you, and let me get right here in front of this stove because I'm about to cook for you guys. Put the stove right there. Let me tell you, my peoples, on this Wednesday. Hold on one second. Hold on. So I want to say, my peoples, focus on you. Focus on what you got going on for yourself, whatever that is. But make sure that wherever you're at in life, you're not just cruising, my peoples. Don't just cruise through life. Now, what do I mean by cruising through life? You get up in the morning, you eat your breakfast, you go to work, you come back home, you watch TV, and then you go to sleep. You do that Monday through Friday. On Saturday, you drink a couple of beers, you go to sleep. Sunday, you drink another couple of beers, go to sleep, and then you start the same process all over again. And if you're doing that, if you're doing the same thing over and over, every single day, the same thing over and over, you don't even realize that you're wasting your time, my peoples. Wasting your time. Don't waste your time. Find something. If you don't already have a passion, if you don't have something that you enjoy doing, find something that gives you a purpose, that gives you a meaning, that make you feel good about it. That you say, yeah, I feel good when I do this. And it could be anything, my peoples. It could be anything. Maybe you like to draw. Maybe you like to paint. Maybe you like to go fishing. I don't know. But spend time on yourself, my people. Forget about what other people got. You see how we do this show every day, and almost every time we do this show, somebody will show up and say, Tank Davis made 50 million, and Tank Davis made this much money. Well, guess what? If you spend that much time on yourself, maybe you could find an idea that you could make 50 million. Because you ain't going to make $50 million talking about Tank Davis and talking about the money that he makes. So if you have dreams of these athletes who got all this money, start making moves so you could get all this money too. Stop dreaming about their money. Stop dreaming about other people's accomplishments and start accomplishing yourself, my peoples. Just remember, and I want you guys to really take this to your heart. Take these words, take them to your heart, my peoples. Every single person, you, everybody who's watching this, your friends, your family, every single person has a talent that they're better than everybody else around them at that talent. Some people just don't know what it is. I've met people who, for the first time, tried something at 20 years old and they was better than everybody around them. It's because they already had that talent. They didn't know. Everybody, my peoples, has a talent that they really, really good at. Figure out what the hell that talent is. Because when you use your talent to make money, it don't even feel like you working, bro. It don't even feel like you working. You think when ESPN or The Zone or any of those companies call me like, yo, we want you to host this show. We want you to call these fights. You think that's gonna feel like work to me? I'm gonna be in heaven. I'm gonna be in heaven. I'm gonna be up in Valhalla calling fights. So the point is, my peoples, the word of the day today, focus on you. Focus on yourself. Forget about what everybody else got, what everybody else getting. Get yours. You don't have to be satisfied when Tank Davis got 50 million. When you could try to chase 50 million. Y'all already know what it is, my peoples. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And yes, Tank Davis did duck Lamar Roach. And no, Jaron Ennis is not ducking the smoke. He is going to be fighting Virgil Ortiz in early 2026. My peoples, I'm out of here, man. One love. Y'all already know what it is. Peace.